We're only 10 days into 2024 and we already have our first content update for Wayfinder. Now, it's not a massive update, but there is still some fun things here I want to go over. But alongside that update, we also got the news of the first sort of roadmap we have for the first few months here of 2024 for content coming to Wayfinder. It's all pretty exciting stuff in my opinion. So we're going to talk about that in this video here. Hello, I'm Mike on Helm the Tower. And in this video, we are going to look over all this news that came out just yesterday, as well as I'm going to give you some thoughts about other things I hope to see from Wayfinder coming into 2024. So let's just get into it. So first up, we have the job system. That is the new content patch that we got. This is going to give us basically Wayfinder's equivalent of daily and weekly quests. If you've played other games in this vein, they have similar style content. Basically, it's going to be random little missions that'll be things like, hey, run this specific expedition with 2 different mutators, or defeat a certain type of enemy a certain amount of times, and you'll get rewards like gold or XP caches, memory fragments, which I know a lot of people were trying to get and farm those because that is a hot commodity item right now in the game to try and farm after, with like this awakening systems and like that, all that kind of stuff. So this is pretty good so far. It's pretty much what you expect from this kind of daily, weekly quest kind of system in these games. In order to unlock it, you will have to complete the Bad Omens quest in the mainline quest. So if you're a new player getting into it, you won't have these right away. You will need to get up to that specific quest in the main quest line, complete it, then you will get a quest that takes you to go talk to Wolf, and then he will introduce the system to you to then go figure out and do daily quests and stuff. This is just like a nice little extra thing, I think, for a lot of players to grind, and while you're already grinding, you can kind of do these little things, get extra caches, get extra little currencies and rewards. I think this will also be a much bigger factor once we get into this roadmap, and you'll see we are going to be getting an additional reward tower in the coming months. And this is a good source of reward tower experience to level that up and get all those different cosmetics and fun stuff. So I think overall this is a fun little thing. I don't think, again, it's not going to change the game massively, but I do think the things we will get into in this content roadmap that they shared alongside this update in the Discord, this is going to be a big change for the game, and I'm really looking forward to all this stuff. So let's talk about that next. All right, everyone, this is the Q1 roadmap for Wayfinder. Q1, if you're not familiar, that's just like a general term for quarters in the year. So basically we're talking anywhere from now in January to the end of March, this content is going to be coming. So let's get into all this stuff. So first off, obviously we got job boards already. This is going to be, this is a fun little change that's already in the game now. Also, something I should mention about it, they kind of treating this as a preview for it. So if you have any kind of bugs you can counter or any other kind of things, you can go to the Wayfinder Discord and go to the feature upvote site and leave your feedback there, or leave bug reports and things like that. So that's just something they go over. They kind of went into more details for some of these things in the Discord. Sir Snarf, the community manager, posted this in an announcements tab in their Wayfinder Discord, so you can go read this all yourself if you'd like, but I'm just going to go ahead and read it all here and go through everything one by one. So first off, the next big update that is coming, they're referring to as the Mythics update. This is going to be encountering a bunch of things. It's going to be more end game progression systems, kind of upgrading the awakening system. You can see we're getting, right now you can go up to awakening 3 stars. They're going to be adding awakening 4 and 5. There's also going to be level 35 loot, so I'm assuming like level 35 accessories and things are going to come alongside these mythic hunts, which are going to be another thing that is coming along as well. Epic accessory sets, more of those. The affinity cap is going to increase. I believe they said in a developer stream that I was unfortunate not to cover because it kind of happened during a little break I took. But, to catch you up, they talked about it in a developer stream recently that they're going to be increasing the affinity levels up to, I believe, 25. And then there's also going to be new skills in each of those affinity trees for each Wayfinder. So there's a lot of new skills and potential build options that are going to be coming to Wayfinders with that. So that's pretty cool. You're going to get additional echo slots with those later awakening levels. I believe they said once you hit awakening 5, you'll get more echo slots for Wayfinders. And they're also introducing Mythic Echoes, which is interesting. I'm curious what that entails. I don't remember if they go over too much in detail in this Discord post, but let's just go over all the stuff they also mentioned in this as well. And this is all things, again, coming in this first quarter of the year. So between now, when this video is going up, and this update we just got, through the end of March 31st is the last day of Q1. So that might be the last day, the latest day they could possibly have for any and all of this content I'm going to be talking over. So it's pretty exciting how much stuff is coming in like the next basically 2 months. First off, we have the Armory rank and the Archetype system. These are two new later game progression systems that are coming. So Armory rank is a new form of progression where you can level a weapon to 30, you'll gain an Armory rank, and at certain ranks you can expect to gain bonuses such as base weapon stat increases or weapon echo capacity. You can also unlock additional tempers granting for more echo sockets. The max Armory rank for now will be 20. So basically, for every weapon you level to 30, you will get bonuses and a rank in this Armory rank system. So this will be kind of an overarching system that it behooves you to get more than just a couple weapons and grind out a bunch of different ones, because that will increase the power of those weapons, also open new echo slots for those weapons, and do a lot more things with those and making them more powerful. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that, so that's coming relatively soon. Next up, the Archetype system. So this is going to be the first version of this system. I believe they said like we're going to get an initial Archetype system that I think will work similarly to the Armory ranks I just explained, and then we're going to get a version 2 of it later on. So let me just go over here what they said. When implemented, the Archetype Accolade track will have you earning bonuses such as increased max equipment level, affinity points, and archetype-specific passives as you play with the various Wayfinders. The second version of this will be the Archetype Talent Tree, which will include branching paths and choices for players to really customize their Wayfinder and play style. So again, yeah, the first part of it will just be more like a simpler, gives you affinity points to kind of increase your affinity ranks and things like that. And these are, I believe, Archetype is also leveling essentially a Wayfinder to level 30 in specific classes. So like Senja and Windgrave are a specific type of Wayfinder. I think they're War Masters. So if you have both of them at level 30, that will give you levels in this system. Is basically how it's going to work. So pretty cool. I'm looking forward definitely more to the version 2 of this. But you know, I'm curious to see what this version 1 is and how they plan to do that stuff. So that's pretty cool. Next up, Mythic Hunts. These are going to be higher difficulty versions of the bosses that we already have in the game. Here's how they describe it. They may be the fights you know and have memorized, but they will be designed to present an extreme challenge for players, and in return have drastically increased accessory and crafting component drop rates, Mythic Rush Echo variants, and new accessory sets and black Gloomstone drops to use alongside the increased affinity cap. Mythic Hunt bounties will also be introduced, which upon completion guarantee an essence or vestige for awakening levels 4+5. So that's going to be a big thing there, is once you kind of get to awakening 3, you're going to start doing these Mythic Hunts to get black Gloomstone, get better accessories that are probably going to be a higher level, like level 34, level 35 accessories to then use for these. When you complete these mythic bounties, you'll then be able to get to awakening levels 4 and 5. So that'll be definitely a big end game progression system that'll go deeper into what's going to come later as we get more into this roadmap, and why you might want to do some of those things to get ready for the raid. But besides that, we're also getting the Frost March expansion. Our first new open world zone since launch will be 2 times the size of the current Highlands. Here you'll find PO points of interest that contain challenges, quests, events, world bosses, and even some more secrets. So that's pretty cool. You can already go to Frost March in the game right now, but it's a very small, like little condensed zone right now. But they're going to be expanding it into a full-fledged open world area. It says it's going to be 2 times the size of the current Highlands. I'm interested that they did say current Highlands. I wonder if they have plans to expand the Highlands zone also as well besides Frost March. That could be pretty cool. it makes sense with the next thing we're talking about, which are mounts. Mounts are also going to be coming, and that also makes sense for why you're going to have such a large area, and make more sense to have a mount to get around a little faster. And also, I'm very curious about these world bosses. There's been this, you can kind of see in this little roadmap image, there's that kind of enemy in the middle that looks like very similar to a boss they teased in very early trailers. This big like purple golem guy with like a spear looking thing who's out in a wintry area, so I'm wondering if that might be our new world boss, or it might just be like a normal boss we might get in a hunt or something in this time frame, or it might just be some enemy that's out wandering in this Frost March expanded size area. So we'll just have to wait and see, but definitely very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing this zone. I like some of the aspects of the wintry Reaver Woods expedition areas already. Like, I know this is like controversial, but I actually really like the big open lake area, just because I think it like adds like an essence that you're in this massive spooky like hidden woods. I like that, like from a conceptual conceit at least. So I'm very curious to now see like them take those aspects from this winter zone and expand it even further, and what that looks like, and being able to ride around in mounts. So this is what they have to say about mounts. We can introduce a massive new zone without making it a breeze to travel around, can we? Mounts will allow you to traverse skylight and open world areas with ease, and founders finally getting to show off their Highlands Strider. So that's right, you know, if you bought a founders pack of a certain level or tier, you will have like a special mount that you'll be able to finally use once this Frost March expansion comes and mounts come. And then finally, of course, without included in the Frost March expansion and mounts is Grendel and the new reward tower. I think this is going to be the biggest thing people get really excited about. The next character is finally coming after they've teased him a few times, and they go on to say Grendel as well as his associated reward tower will be smashing their way into Avenor. All players who purchased a Founders Pack with the Founder Season 2 reward tower will be getting Grendel and his tower. So there you go. Finally getting Grendel here. I'm guessing, like, if I were to just make a general estimate here, since we got jobs here in January, I'm betting this Mythic and some of these end game progression systems, like Mythic hunts and the Awakening 4 and 5s and some of this other stuff, are just going to come in February sometime, and then in March we will see Grendel and this new open world zone and the world bosses and things like that, and mounts. I think that'll probably be the split. If I were to just make a general estimate, but you never know. They also have talked about maybe having this stuff come out piecemeal by piecemeal. So we might see, just Awakening 4 and 5 come at one point alongside like a Mythic thing, some Mythic hunts, and maybe they'll kind of like sprinkle it here and there. Other things they talked about in this that weren't listed here, but we're also on the actual thing. You can see there's new weapons are listed, so obviously we'll get more weapons throughout this area. I'm wondering if we'll see any more lost zones or other bosses besides just these. I'm hoping we maybe see some of that as well here in the new year, but we'll have to just see, considering maybe they're doing Mythic hunts, and that's like basically having a more difficult version of every boss fight that's current in the game. Would make sense to maybe hold off on other boss fights until they implement that, and then they can, as they implement future bosses, that will already have that Mythic difficulty applied to it. So maybe that's just easier for them to do. I guess we'll have to see. And of course, they also tease on this roadmap, with all of that stuff, they want to give some players some time to gear up with this mythic stuff coming, new reward towers, new weapons, and other things like that. And of course, Grendel coming later this year. In early Q2, we will see the 6-player raid. Now, they did give some more details in that dev QA that they did, or the dev stream rather, they did a few weeks ago before the break. They talked about it a couple minutes ago. But basically in that, they detailed the raid is coming. It will be 6 players. It'll be pretty difficult. It is end game content. I think the recommended level by them was that you have to have at least characters and weapons to Awakening level 3, and even then, when you're at that level going into a raid, it'll still be pretty freaking challenging, is how they're putting it. It'll be 6 players. I think they said it'll be about 4, maybe 5 fights. I'm really curious how that is going to look in this game. Again, having the other main game we could cover on this channel, this raid is sounding very similar to a Destiny style raid. So, you know, I'm trying to keep my expectations in check, because I know I don't want to like put all of all of my thoughts and feelings, how I feel about Destiny raids and how fun they can be, and like judge all of the years of raiding in that game compared to like this game, which is going to have, you know, their very first raid. This is the team's first raid they're ever creating in some shape or form. So, you know, I don't want to put all of the weight of like how other games have tons of raids over many years and all the experiences they've been able to do already. I don't want to put all of that on their shoulders. So I'm going to try and go in this with an open mind, since it'll be the first raid they've ever done. But, you know, I'm still liking the sound of it. You know, it's going to be 6 players. It's going to be challenging, and I'm excited for it. That'll be early Q2, as they put it. So Q2 starts in April, of course. So it could come as soon as that. It could be a little bit later. It could be, you know, April, May of some time. We don't know for sure, but we'll just have to wait and see as we get closer. But regardless, my eyes are all on this stuff that we're getting in Q1. It's a lot of really exciting stuff that I'm really looking forward to. I really want to see how they get into more difficult end game progression content, how that feels, how that works. I'm sure there will be tons of feedback from the people in the Wayfinder Discord with this stuff, and even from myself included, wanting to see some harder content, some content that like really actually is more challenging as a solo player, but even as somebody, as I want to get ready for raids and play with more different groups and different people. You know, I want to see how that feels in this game, and actually having like, you know, team compositions for the raid, team compositions for Mythic hunts. Like, I want to see how that feels and works in this game, because I think it could be really cool. On top of them even introducing higher level progression mechanics, right? Like doing Awakening 4 and 5, having higher affinity levels and new skills through that. How armory levels can increase your power, and also the archetype system, how that'll adjust things as well. So a lot of changes just in these first few months for the game of 2024, so it's pretty exciting, right? But I do want to talk about some other things I'm thinking about for hopes to see in the game coming in 2024, things they didn't really discuss in this content roadmap, just some personal things, you know, minor criticisms here and there are things I think, you know, bits of feedback that I want to give here. You know, and also there were some other things that came out that I want to make sure I just kind of cover here on the channel, because they did have that stream, the dev stream right before Christmas time, that I was not able to cover here as much on the channel. A big thing they covered in that, which is admittedly one of my current pain points in the game, are echoes. Echoes right now are like completely RNG dependent. How you get them, like there's no real way to, like, you know, if you increase the difficulty in this to have different spheres, you don't have better drop rates of like higher tier echoes, so it can make kind of that making like, you know, builds or going after specific stats and things and increasing a little bit of a pain point right now. It's not like super difficult if you play a lot, because I'm at like 450 hours, 500 hours, so now I'm doing pretty alright on echoes, but I can see how it could be a pain point, especially when you're trying to get in this upward progression to this higher level content, and then you're going to have a lot of roadblocks through RNG. I think that's just not going to feel good to a lot of players coming into the game. So I think this next Echo overhaul that they have planned to come sounds pretty exciting. They did not give a time frame. Again, this wasn't on the roadmap. They did specify that this will probably come after the raid comes out, so this will be something that comes after that. I know like some people were hoping it would come before the raid once they announced this, but I guess it makes sense, you know, if you think about it from like, they've probably been already working on this raid a little bit while if it's already coming out in March in just like, you know, less than maybe 2 months potentially. So it probably was designed with the current ecosystem in mind. So, you know, having to go back and readjust it after like this probably maybe easier for them, I guess, is how they're thinking about it. But here's what the updated ecosystem. This is kind of some of the points they got this, and also shout out to Sorrow, the moderator on the Discord. He kind of did a write up of this. I'm pulling all of that information that he kind of wrote up from that. So shout outs to him for them for doing this. So I'm kind of pulling from it's all on the Discord here. So the Echo Overhaul is a bit further out. It'll be a complete rework of the system. They'll be shifted to a catalog system instead of being individual items. Once you obtain an Echo, you will own it forever. Echo quality will be based off the highest one you've looted, so it'll be just based on what you get drops still, but by that. But you'll also be capable of upgrading Echo qualities using memory fragments and Echo dust, and should not be RNG. Should RNG not be on your side. So that's like the big thing is like, so if you get a gray Echo and you, for the life of you, after like, you know, trying to grind out maybe getting a slightly higher tier of that Echo, and it's just, you're just not getting the drop, you can then feed those currencies into that Echo to upgrade it to green and blue and then purple and so on. So, you know, that's great. That's the kind of things I want to hear. You know, at least some kind of system to combat the RNG is always very good. Echo capacity costs will no longer go up as you rank up an Echo, and they will only be able to equip one of each Echo in a loadout. Think of similar of how rush Echoes work right now. So basically you will only have, so basically what they're saying is, you know, if you have multiple bone letter Echoes or a specific enemy type Echo, and you have like a blue one and a green one, you can only apply like the blue one to a single character. You'll still be able to apply that to other characters, but you can't put like multiple blood letter Echoes on a single character, is what they're essentially saying. It'll have to be, you pick specific Echo types and the specific Echo itself, rather than having like, oh, I just want to put 4 blood letter Echoes because it cranks up my weapon power stat on my weapon, and that's my build. you know, they want you to actually, you know, mix and match Echoes of the specific types and have the ones that, you know, will essentially be like the better Echoes in those slots go there where it makes sense. So I like that kind of stuff. I like having more, you know, differentiation of character and build styles and build crafting. Like, that's a good thing in games, in my opinion. So I like that. You don't have to longer worry about sharing the same Echo between multiple Wayfinders and weapons. So again, that's what I mentioned. Like, you know, again, it'll be, I have a bone letter Echo. It's like a blue rarity. I can slot it into this Wayfinder, but I can't slot it like another blue bone letter Echo that I already have if I had duplicates into other slots on that. That's how it'll work. But I can take up that same blue bone letter and put it on like Nis if I already had it on Windgrave, is essentially how it'll start working. Hopefully that made sense. But, you know, it's just, you know, there won't be duplicate Echoes anyway, so you can't really have multiples of them anyway at this point. The last point, as you loot Echoes you can't use anymore, it'll automatically convert to dust. It also slowly upgrades Echoes of the same type that dropped. So that's pretty cool. So you still get duplicate drops of Echoes. So if it'll be a higher rarity Echo, it'll then upgrade to that rarity automatically if you have that one. So that's cool. If you already have like a max level 1, or I guess if you have a purple one of that specific Echo, it'll just automatically convert to Echo dust. So I like that a lot. So that's pretty cool. I like that change a lot to Echoes. It makes me more interested in actually gathering them and like upgrading them to various rarities, or having ones that I already know I have that rarity tier on. And, you know, I'll look forward to like this kind of being a big mix up on the build crafting when this comes out, and shifting up how I do it as well. I like this a lot. One of the pain point they didn't go over that I'm gonna talk about here is similar system or accessories. I know they did say that more accessory sets are coming and they will be higher levels, so I think they are sticking to the leveling aspects of accessories, although I'm not admittedly the biggest fan of it, at least in its current state. If there was, again, in a similar sense, if you get multiple accessories of the same type and you can like feed them into other accessories and level them, or if you can just like let us use some currencies you have to level up accessories we want to use, I think that would be really nice. Just because I already see it happening in the community where the build crafting, quote unquote, is having a similar issue with Echoes, where people are just going like, oh, the highest level set of Echoes I can get, or accessories I can get, is from this boss, so I'm just gonna farm this boss, get the highest level ones, and that's like my one set that I can pretty much use, and I have no real need for any other accessories in the game right now. So like really all it is me just selling a bunch of useless accessories over and over when I get near the cap. and have no use for any of these other ones, because these are the ones that only matter because they are the highest level ones we can get, which gives me the best like power scaling and stuff like that. So I think there's just, I know like this will change because we're getting more sets and stuff, so that might, diversify it a little bit. But I just think, just as they are right now, the leveling just feels like an off point. If it were me, I would love to see the levels just removed entirely, and it's just like a scaling thing, or it's just based off of the accessory like bonuses you get. So whatever the bonuses are, and what level rarity are will give better bonuses or whatever to them. So like I think that could be beneficial. But if they want to keep the leveling aspect, I'm fine with it. If they just give us a way to level them up, level the accessories up that are like lower level or something, just some way to better navigate those, because right now personally for me, I have like no drive to go and try and find sets, because I know like there's just gonna be ones that just don't really matter because they're lower level, or they just aren't going to be necessary for this, because I know there's like this one set that matters, and I admittedly haven't even gone and got that set, just because I'm, there's still plenty of other things to go do in the game at the moment, and they have not felt super necessary to have like the perfect sets. I just get ones in that same issue, but it's a similar issue where it's just like, oh, I have a bunch of level 30 ones, let me just throw 3 random level 30 ones on, because that's all that really actually makes an impact on my character right now, because the echo slots you get are entirely random on them as well. And while those can make significant differences if you're really speccing that stuff, the current content in the game really does not feel like necessary to have like very specific things, or echo slots rather, to like build into. Maybe the content that's coming, like mythics and raids, will change that, but even so, like I feel like accessories as a whole, I like just don't have an interest in. I'm not really interested in like a very specific accessory or set of them, because ultimately all I'm really chasing is if they're level 30 or if they're a certain level, because I need them to hit a certain power scale in this rating. So I just hope that they maybe do changes to them to make it feel like these sets actually matter. Like I want to care about a set from this particular boss, or this set that I need to like craft into, because there is that vendor that you can go craft accessories at. And I honestly have probably gone and talked to that guy like 2-3 times in my hundreds of hours playing, just to go look at stuff, and then realize like, what, this doesn't really matter, because like they're all base or lower levels anyway, so I'm just gonna kind of ignore this for now. So I hope they definitely revisit this system in the future, because I think it is definitely going to be the next big pain point in the game, especially as we get deeper and deeper in. They're going to be introducing more sets, as they mentioned on the roadmap, and we only have that 125 limit, so now we have to have a certain amount of sets that'll just kind of fill up our inventory and make us hit that cap even faster. So I definitely think they're going to have to look at this system again at some point. It might still be a ways off, because I know they're kind of focused on probably getting Grendel and like all the stuff on the roadmap ready, and then they're gonna get into the raid and the echo overhaul. So I'm assuming this might be a down the road thing later in the year, and I think that'll be okay, but I definitely think it'll be the next pain point that a lot of the community is gonna get, at least like the community that's getting later into the later game end game stuff will start having issues with as we get down the road. So I hope they, are at least aware and like are thinking about what they can do in the future for the accessory system. But that's like kind of like really admittedly like a current pain point. I know there's like obvious things that they always talk about, like performance on the game. I definitely want to see it get better on PS5. I know they said there will be a quality and performance mode coming to consoles at some point. They didn't give a specific time frame, but personally I'd rather just see them try and maximize the visuals of the game and the overall frame rate of the game, and improve that stuff in any way they can. Of course, that'll always be, I think, an ongoing thing. As an early access title, I really appreciated that we now have at least a general concept. That was like kind of my fear immediately going into 2024, was like they had a lot of things they talked about. They didn't give us like a general kind of idea of when we can expect things. So I'm really happy that we got this specific roadmap that gave us a better idea of like, all right, here's the next 3 months. This is what you can expect in these next 3 months. and I'm sure once we get, later into the stuff, they will then maybe give us, some more content about that stuff, about what's Q2 or Q3 going to look like for this game. So as we get later in later 24, we'll have to wait and see. There's things after that. They've teased like the next Wayfinder a very tiny bit. Some lady, there was concept art of her a while ago where she's all glowy, looks really cool. She was formerly a monk character people thought a lot of, but it seems that's not happening. She's going to be a different type of character. We'll have to wait and see when they show more of her. I'm looking forward to more lost zones. I want more randomized dungeons to run, more bosses to see. I'm sure that stuff's coming, but they didn't give like that much of an idea if that stuff's going to be in this Q1 or not. It might be more of a Q2 thing. We'll have to wait and see. Anything else? I would love to see more customization stuff. I know they said they kind of put some of that on back burner because they want to make sure the game is in like a much more stable spot. But I honestly think the game is in slightly better spot, especially with 0.2 and with some of this other stuff coming. I know obviously they can work on a couple things here and there, but it wouldn't hurt to see some more customization shop items even, or just stuff to earn in the game. I'm sure that stuff will all come, but I'm hoping we hear more word on that stuff as well in the coming future. But that's it for this one, guys. Again, maybe a random rambly thing, but I thought I'd give my thoughts here at the end about kind of where I'm feeling about Wayfinder right now going into this year. Overall, pretty excited. I think this is a pretty strong start to the year. I honestly, personally did not expect to have the raid already by early Q2. I was expecting it like, in the summer, maybe like in like June or July or something. So to hear it's coming potentially as soon as April is pretty cool and pretty exciting. That's a lot more content than I expected already coming to the game this soon. So that is pretty cool. Just have to see how the rest of the year goes. I definitely hope, Wayfinder finds its footing and a lot more people come check out the game here in 2024, because I think it's off to a pretty strong start and has a bright future ahead. At least that's my hope. So, I'll be back with another video in the future, whenever they announce more news and updates about the game. For now, guys, thanks again for watching. If you stuck all the way through this video, feel free to subscribe and like for more Wayfinder content, and I'll see you in the next one.